Okay, so today's video, it's going to be a bit different. I'm going to do a show and tell about potential gift ideas for the audiophile in your life. And that's probably you. So these are gift ideas that you could potentially buy for yourself. And along the way, I'm also going to tackle some long-standing questions that come from commenters about what's that, or what's that behind you, or what's that in the background.
This episode is brought to you by Marantz, makers of the ISA award-winning Model M1 streaming amplifier. Click the link below for more info.
Okay, so let us start with this. This is the FiiO DM13. On the back here, it's written portable stereo CD player. And yes, it is, if I can flip it open. But yeah, this is a portable CD player. And that means it can be used outside of the house. And there's an electronic skip protection button on the back. I tried it this morning, actually. I was sat here listening, and then I went into the kitchen to make some toast, and then came back and it didn't skip once, so that's pretty damn good. But I was listening via headphones, so there's a 3.5mm socket on the front here. There's a 4.4mm balanced socket here. There is a display. Let me just turn it on. It should come on in a moment. It says hello, which is kind of a bit cheesy. So yeah, the display is there. And then there are some buttons along the front panel here. So we've got power, on and off. We've got play, pause. We've got previous track, Red Hot Chili Peppers button, volume up and down, and then a menu button, which I haven't really dug into too much because this has only just arrived about 3 days ago. I have looked at the manual. Now the manual tells me that this device has some pretty cool tricks up its sleeve in that it can also be connected to a hi-fi system digitally. So on the back here, there's like a hybrid socket which says line out, coax, optical. So you can coax or optical out of that into your favorite DAC. I remember having a Discman many years ago, 20 years ago, which was smaller than this, but it didn't have a digital output like this one does. Power comes from USB-C. This is a rechargeable battery, but there's another USB-C socket here. Now this is cool because apparently what you can do is you can connect a USB storage device and rip your CD as a WAV or as a collection of WAVs directly to that storage device and then plug that into your laptop and drag and drop it across. So this is a multi-function portable CD player, so you can use it outside the house, in the house, and then also as a CD ripper, which I don't think is all that bad of a deal for, what is it? It's about 150 euros, 130 US dollars. And yeah, I will be making a video, a more in-depth video about this next year at some point because I've also got the Moondrop here, so I'll be comparing the two. But this is, yeah, again, the FiiO DM13, and I think that's well worth a cool little gift for somebody, i.e. you. Okay, next up is a pair of headphones because we need some headphones to use with our portable CD player, right? Now, this is the Meze 105 AER open back headphone, sells for 400 euros and 400 US dollars. Meze didn't send these to me. I bought these from my local hi-fi store here in Berlin. So a shout out to Hi-Fi im Hinterhof in Kreuzberg. And yeah, I gotta say, these are these are absolutely fantastic. They really are, especially for the money. I think they're some of the best value, affordable over-ear headphones available right now. Mainly, I won't put them on my head because it's going to mess up my hair and then you'll laugh at me for the rest of the video, but mainly because these are supremely comfortable. These are amazingly comfortable. The soft velour ear pads are just lovely. The whole thing just hangs on your head lovely, just hangs on your head nicely. And there's a sort of auto-adjusting suspended headband here, which is just fantastic. Now, if you've seen the 109 Pro, you'll kind of recognize that this is sort of a similar design. And I think Meze have carried over the DNA from the 109 Pro to the 105 AER. The ear cups are not wood as they are on the 109. Here they are ABS plastic. I'm not sure about the driver. It's kind of hard to work out at the moment whether Meze have used the same driver in the 105 as they used in the 109. But one thing is for certain, these sound different. And in a way that I really, really like, because they've just taken, or they sort of lower the ceiling a little bit on the treble extension and zing to make them feel and sound more intimate. And I think that has the knock-on effect of being able to hear more clearly into the sort of deeper recesses of the mid-range. So for me, this is an absolute stone cold bargain of a headphone, even though it is €400. That's not a small amount of money, I know. So yeah, this could be a gift that you could buy for yourself. Okay, next up. Now we're going to need a CD to test our FiiO CD player, right? And the sun is coming out, which is going to ruin this video. But this video is just super loose. There's no planning that's gone into this. None at all, actually. I'm flat out doing and planning my best of 2024 video right now. So this is just as it comes. So you'll get to see me talking warts and all and the sun behaving in a way that I wouldn't normally film a video if the sun was doing this, but today it's a bit different. Anyway, yes, CD to test the gapless playback on the FiiO portable CD player. This is something called Xerrox Volume 5. It says on the back, Xerrox Volume 5. It's Xerrox with 2 R's in the middle. This is electronic music made by an artist who goes by the name of Alva Noto. Now, I had the good fortune to talk with Carsten Nicolai about his, his kind of love of sound, but also music and also packaging at a small sort of exhibition space / pop-up store that is going to be open here in Berlin until the middle of January. But Nicolai was there last weekend, so I went down and I bought a couple of things, including the Subterraneans cover version 12-inch. That's a Bowie track that he did with Martin Gore and William Basinski. So I bought that 12-inch, got him to sign it, and he was great because he was talking to me about the speakers that he uses and also how he actually manipulates the waveforms inside a door to get the sound that he wants. Anyway, back to Xerrox 5. This is ambient music. Oh God, I almost dropped it. It's ambient music, it's drone, it's maybe a bit glitchy in places, it's maybe a bit noisy. There are some very, very low bass notes on this album. And Nicolai was telling me that one of the reasons he loves CD so much is because it doesn't compromise those low bass notes as much as vinyl does. And one thing I love about all the Alva Noto catalogue really is the effort that Nicolai puts into the packaging. Because this, as you can see, is a sort of fold out thing. It's nothing fancy, but it's definitely not better than the jewel cases we normally see. I think it's a little bit more expensive to make. I think that's what Nicolai told me. So it's kind of, I'm making a real hash of this, aren't I? I'm just almost dropping it. So the CD sort of slots in there, but it's just a lovely item, and it is a seamless sequence of tracks, so there should be no artificially inserted gaps of silence placed by the CD player when we're listening, right? And the FiiO does a great job of that. It's completely seamless, it's completely gapless. This CD sells for about $20, so a little bit more expensive than your average CD, but it's beautifully made. I mean, as electronic music goes, I think Alva Noto makes some of the best recorded and mastered stuff out there. And if you want, I guess, another credential that would give him some credibility if you're kind of like, oh, electronic music isn't for me. Carsten Nicolai, as Alva Noto, has also worked with the late Ryuichi Sakamoto. So yeah, this is a really interesting CD. You can also buy the vinyl if you want. I think the vinyl is about $40. I mean, this one cost me €24 from Nicolai's pop-up shop last weekend. But this is another thing that you could buy for yourself. Okay, let's come to the sponsored segment of this video. This video is sponsored by Roon, as many of my videos have been this year, because I've been using Roon since 2016, and there aren't many companies to whom I would agree to doing sort of sponsored segments in my videos. Roon is one of them. I started that this year, but I've been using it since 2015, I'm sorry, so almost 10 years. Now, one of the things I get asked a lot is how do I put the cover art on my TV when I'm using Roon? Now, I do it in a way that not everybody would want to do. So I use an Apple TV and then a third-party Apple TV app called TV Remote. And I use that because what I do is I send the Roon Ready, the audio stream, to whichever Roon device I want to stream to. That could be anywhere in the house. And then independently of that, I have Roon send the now playing screen, so the cover art and the metadata, to the TV remote app running on the Apple TV, which then pipes it into the TV and out, right? Now you're probably wondering, why don't I just send everything, audio and now playing video, to the Apple TV? And it's a good question. The reason is this, right? Is if I'm sending just say a CD quality stream to the Apple TV won't do anything to it. But as soon as it goes through the TV's operating system, because it's got to come through an ARC socket into, say, I've got one here actually. Here's one I made earlier. I'm just leaning out of shot. Oh God, I'm going to lose my focus. Oh, this video is chaos. If I was to stream it out of the TV into, say, the HDMI ARC input on the back of this WiiM AMP, that's fine, but the TV itself will resample all of the audio to 48 kilohertz. And that includes 96 kilohertz, original source streams, and 192. So everything gets funneled into 48. Now, that kind of resampling can be deleterious. It can have a negative impact on audio quality, although we don't know how much because we can't turn it off. We can't get around it, right? So being as we're operating at the thin end of the audiophile wedge here, what audiophiles like to do is remove doubt. A lot of what audiophiles do is removing doubt. They're in the business of removing doubt. So me, I like to send the audio stream to, say, this WiiM AMP and then the now playing screen to the Apple TV. Now I realize that not everybody wants to use an Apple product. Not everybody wants to use a third-party app, especially when it involves setting up some extensions inside the Roon server, which for some people can be complicated. So you could get yourself a Google Chromecast. I only bought this yesterday because I'm going to be using this, I think, well, I'm definitely going to be using it over Christmas. I've got one in Portugal that I use quite a bit. Now, the advantage of using a Chromecast...
Great. A Chromecast can be a really handy device to have around.
Why is my phone talking to me?
Here are a few ways you might find it useful over...
Please be quiet. Goodness me. Google is everywhere, right? It's listening to me. So, Google Chromecast is pretty handy because you can stream audio to this and video to this and you'll get the now playing screen on the TV. But you can also, inside Roon, separate it out as you do with an Apple TV and the third-party app. So I can still send the audio to my WiiM AMP, the stream of audio to that, and then have this display the now playing information on my TV, but without the need to install a third-party app. So I think that's pretty cool. This thing is Wi-Fi only. It cost me yesterday 60 euros, but I think you can get them cheaper because this has been superseded to some extent by the new Google streamer. I forget what it's called, but it looks more like an Apple TV and it has an Ethernet socket in the back. So if you need Ethernet or if you don't do Wi-Fi, the newer version is what you need, but it's more expensive. But I think most people will be satisfied with this. So yeah, thank you to Roon for sponsoring this video. Okay, what's next? Yes, let's have a look at this. Now I get asked about this an awful lot, right? People say to me, John, is that a Silver Sun Pickups album in the against the front wall in your room? And no, it's not, it's this. So the Silver Sun Pickups used this image for a cover of one of their albums. I'm not sure which one, I've forgotten. I did write it down yesterday because I wrote this up for my website and yeah, don't ask me. But this is not a Silver Sun Pickups album. This is a book, as you can tell. It's a book of photographs by a chap called Todd Hido. It's called House Hunting. And basically, I mean, let's see if I can open this and get this on camera because it's a really lovely book. I mean, it's super nice. So let me get a good image. The one on the front cover is fantastic, but essentially it's photographs of houses at night in American suburbia. You never really see anybody in those photos. They kind of have like a bit of an eerie, unnerving quality, which is why I like them, right? Because yes, suburbia is meant to be this sort of family-friendly and very homely place, right? But if you take the people away, I mean, look at this one. You just get this kind of very, I guess this is probably the same way, or the same, oh, it's not focusing. It's focused on the back wall, God damn it. Okay, let's try that again. Is it focusing there? Is it focusing there? I don't know. So you get the same sort of feeling from these photographs as you do from watching something like Twin Peaks or Blue Velvet, obviously directed by David Lynch. So there is a sort of David Lynch quality to Todd Hido's work in this particular case. I love this book. This you can get on Amazon for about 60 or 70 US dollars. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that really, but it's something you could definitely buy for yourself this holiday season. So let's wrap things up with one more item. So you see over my, no, not that shoulder, over this shoulder, just, let me see if I can, there is a sort of neon glowing LED cactus, right? And I've got one of these in my listening room in Lisbon, I've got one in my office, I've got one in the spare room, and it kind of adds a bit of pop of color to videos like this, but also just to the room in general, especially when the weather is as grim as it is in the winter here in Germany. And yeah, I really like these. I bought it from a shop in Portugal called Ale Hop or Alley Hop, and they always have like a big sort of cardboard plastic cow in the doorway, so you can't really miss it, but you can get them on Amazon, but they're a bit more expensive. So I think from Ale Hop, I paid 12 euros for each one. So yeah, I really like them. They're just a bit of visual stimulus. In fact, Olaf's girlfriend liked, well, she saw one in my video and was like, I want to get one of those. So Olaf asked me to get him one last time I was in Portugal, and I did. But also, oh yeah, you should know that they are USB-C powered and battery powered. So that cactus there behind me is connected to the Samsung TV's transmitter box, the USB socket on that. So it will turn on and off as I turn my TV on and off, right? But it also runs from batteries. And then more recently, I'm going to turn one on here, I have bought, it's pretty intense, isn't it? A Flamingo, which it's not as good as the Cactus, but I have one of these in Portugal and I have featured it in a couple of recent videos. Like I say, you'll see a lot of YouTubers use these kinds of props to just make the background pop, because without that cactus, the background would look a bit dull and a bit lifeless. And I didn't want to use those kind of strip lights and things like that. I wanted something with a bit of personality. And given that I have cacti all over my Lisbon apartment, and I've also got one here now, which is just over this shoulder, it sort of fits thematically. The Flamingo doesn't fit at all. But yeah, you can run these from batteries with 3 AA batteries, 10 or 12 bucks from Ale Hop. You can buy them online as well from the Ale Hop website. And like I say, Amazon is also an option. And yeah, that's something else you could buy for yourself. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, you know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe if that's your thing, or hit us up on Patreon if that's your thing. And if you want 5 more suggestions of gift ideas that you could buy for yourself, then check out the article that I'll link to in the description box below that points to my website, where I kind of go through 10 possible holiday gift ideas. And thank you ever so much for watching. And once again, sorry this video was so chaotic all over the place, and yeah, visually it's just a mess.